Hi, my name is John Ulrich. I've been a motorcycle rider since 1969, a motorcycle racer since 1973, a motorcycle team owner since 1980, and about 20 years ago I started the Roadracing World Action Fund. Roadracing World Action Fund raises money to get soft barriers deployed in front of hard objects that racers who crash may hit at the racetrack. And back in the day when I started racing, if we went to a track and we said to the people running the track or the races, hey, can we get some hay bales in front of this bridge abutment so if we crash here we don't die? Answer was, if you don't find this track suitable as it is, please leave and never come back, except it was a lot less polite. Over the years, I tried different ways to improve rider safety, and the big deal for me was that I looked around one day and realized it wasn't just me and my friends racing. It was me, my kid, my friends' kids, the young guys who rode for my race team, and everybody else who was running around the racetrack. And I thought, there's got to be some way that we can get racing safety improved, because it was typical that several guys would get killed every year and other guys would get hurt, and some of them turned into wheelchair pilots. And it was a very difficult situation for me, looking around and realizing that it hadn't gotten better, and it probably wasn't going to get better unless somebody did something. So what I did was I did an editorial on roadracingworld.com talking about Airfence, which was a new product that was coming out, and it was basically a pre-inflated airbag that went in front of a hard wall or steel barrier or bridge abutment or whatever you had on a racetrack. And if a guy crashed or a girl crashed and slid into it, it absorbed the impact instead of killing them or maiming them or whatever would happen. So the basic concept is that an air fence has an ambient air chamber inside. It has a support structure that defines that ambient air chamber, and it's got blow-off valves on the top. So when somebody hits it, the air is forced out through the blow-off valves at a controlled rate, and it absorbs energy. It works just like an airbag in a car, except it's already inflated. It works really well. Just to give you an example, several years ago, Kyle Wyman was racing his superbike at Barber Motorsports Park, and he had a brake problem. His mechanic had changed the pads in his front caliper. He'd put the pins that hold the pads back in place, but he didn't put the clip that holds the pins in place in. So pin fell out, pads fell out. He comes to the end of the straightaway, and we know how fast he was going because he had GPS data acquisition on his bike. He was also wearing an airbag-equipped Dainese suit that had GPS on it, so we could tell what was going on with him. So we know that he left the track at 147 miles per hour, realized he was in big trouble and was going to use up all the gravel trap, and was going to hit a wall that fortunately had air fence in front of it. So he bailed off, bounced a couple times, and then body slammed sideways into a section of air fence and hit it at 104 miles an hour. So he decelerated from 104 miles an hour to zero in about 4 feet. And when it was all over, he got up and staggered out of the gravel trap, which was an unbelievably good outcome for what had just happened. We had another case more recently, last May, where Corey Alexander wasn't qualifying for stock production class, and he had a big crash at VIR, hung onto the bike a little bit longer than he should have probably, and went slamming into the air fence there at over 100 miles an hour. And when it was all done, he had a concussion, which might have been from him hitting the pavement before he got to the air fence, but he was structurally okay, and he wasn't dead. So those are two examples of dozens, hundreds of cases where people have crashed and they've slid into air fence that the Road Racing World Action Fund raised the money for and got deployed, and it's an ongoing program. We currently work with the Moto America series, which is the best group we've worked with over the years, and also several local clubs and organizations and different track days that do fundraisers and to get air fence deployed at their events. And it's been a really, really successful program. Of course, there's a service life for the stuff. You can get damaged in crashes, something can happen, it gets worn out, so we constantly have to raise more money to replace air fence or Alpina soft barriers, which is another brand that we use. Last year, we provided $180,000 worth of Alpina's latest, greatest product to the Moto America series. And this product was special because you can link several sections together, hook it up to an air compressor and a generator, and it'll maintain itself at the perfect pressure to absorb energy all by itself. You don't have to go out and refill it with a pump or anything like that. So we took the sections that were replaced by the 18 sections that we provided to Moto America last year, and we kicked them down to other organizations that are happy to get them. They're not the latest, greatest, but they're perfectly serviceable. So we'll keep spreading the Airfence out among different track day organizations, club racing organizations. More than that, we changed the conversation from, hey, if you don't like this track, get out of here and don't ever come back, to rider safety being accepted and expected. We changed the entire culture of racing in the United States, and we're still doing it. Thank you very much.